Picture this. A janitor in Los Angeles earning $14,000 a year gets approved for a $720,000 home loan. No questions asked, no documents required, just a signature. The year is 2006, and something impossible is happening across America. But here's what nobody tells you about the 2008 financial crisis. It wasn't caused by greedy bankers or corrupt politicians, or even risky loans. Those were just symptoms. The real cause? A lie so mathematically elegant, so beautifully constructed, that the world's smartest people believed it without question. This is the story of how a single assumption destroyed $16 trillion in wealth. In 1999, housing prices in America had been climbing steadily for 50 years. Not dramatically, not dangerously, just reliably, like gravity working in reverse. To Wall Street, this wasn't just data, this was gospel. The high priests of this temple were the quants, quantitative analysts with PhDs in mathematics and physics. They created something called the Gaussian copula function. Don't worry about the name. What matters is what it promised, scientific precision. These mathematical models looked at decades of housing data and said, houses always go up, even in bad times. Maybe they pause, maybe they dip 1 or 2%, but they never, ever crash nationwide. The quants calculated that the chance of a nationwide housing crash was the same as the chance of 200 coin flips all landing on heads, statistically impossible. So they built everything on that foundation. Banks took millions of mortgages and sliced them into products called CDOs. They told everyone, look, even if some of these go bad, they can't all go bad at once. Rating agencies looked at these models and stamped them doyle, the safest investment on earth. Banks became addicted to the fees from creating these securities, but they needed more mortgages, always more. So they lowered standards. That janitor making $14,000 wasn't an outlier. He was the business model, because houses always go up. In 2006, something strange happened in a suburb of Cleveland, then in Las Vegas, then in Phoenix. Houses started sitting on the market, 1 month, 2 months. Prices dropped, just a little. The models said this was normal variance, nothing systemic. But then, a fascinating thing happened, something the models never accounted for: human behavior. Homeowners looked at their neighbors walking away from mortgages and thought, why am I the sucker still paying? The quants modeled defaults like rolling dice, but defaults were contagious. Here's the major reveal that changes everything. The crash happened because of something much simpler. The one assumption everyone believed was wrong. Houses don't always go up. That's it. 5 words. From 1890 to 1997, American housing prices adjusted for inflation basically went nowhere. The post-war boom, that was the anomaly. The quants had mistaken a 50-year lucky streak for an eternal law of physics. When housing prices began to fall nationwide in 2007, the entire financial system realized simultaneously that it was built on quicksand. Those AAA securities, worthless. The models, garbage in, garbage out. Everything broke. The lesson wasn't regulate banks more. The lesson was simpler and more terrifying. The most dangerous assumptions are the ones we don't realize we're making. In the end, the crisis wasn't caused by a system that was too complex. It was caused by a belief that was too simple.